Okay. Hello. Hello to Facebook and hello to YouTube. Today I wanted to take a little different direction. And oh, by the way, my name is David. If you've been following me, you probably know that about 7 years ago, gave me the official name. They gave it to me of David F. Small Biz David Leopold. And it's worked very well for me. But what I wanted to do today is uh, yesterday I got in the mail this book, Small Business Taxes 2021, and it is written for the 25th year now or better by my friend Barbara Weltman. In fact, if you go through my various websites or uh, smallbizdavid.com, dreamingwithentrepreneurs.com, dreamingwithentrepreneurs.tv. There will always be an interview or a discussion. I don't like to call them interviews, a discussion somewhere with Barbara. We have been so very blessed to have her as a friend for the last 10 years now. And as I got her book, and I do the typical things I'm going to show you that I do, how I best read this book. An accountant is going to read this book one way, and a lot of accountants do read this book every year. But since I've basically been a one-person operation, except for 1 year of my life, I've never had to deal with many of these issues. It's pretty straightforward in what I can do, and so it's worked out a little bit differently. But when I get Barbara's book or when I use it, I always keep it near my desk. The first thing that I do when I get it is I look to the table of contents and see exactly how she has the book organized. This year there are 34 chapters and 4 appendices. Almost, actually, I know she was about 50-page larger, more this year than in past, almost 750 pages in this year's book. And then what I do is I go to, well, if I want to understand a specific idea, a specific concept, I will go to the index. When I read business books, they have to have an index so I can find out certain things that I want to learn about and then go to the page in the book where it's found. They're keywords. That's what an index is, and that's the way that I best understand, particularly a book like this. I'm sure a novel's a little bit different than reading this book, but I'm going to suggest that folks, if you know a small business owner, well, everybody knows a small business owner. You have to know one, because if you weren't a small business owner in your life, particularly if you're a baby boomer, you worked for a small business, but you have that affinity, okay? And small business is I don't want to say it's in trouble. it's in a state of trying to figure out what's going on and how to best do it. And of course, we talk about the New American Business Plan and how important it is to understand the new ways that the business is being done. And to that point, that's where a very practical reference book such as this is very important. And what I'd like to do is read one of her preface. Well, it was her opening paragraph in her preface. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed everything. Yeah, many businesses struggled throughout 2020, and some have actually gone under because sales suffered following government ordered social distancing and other rules designed to curtail the spread of the virus. It's an unprecedented disaster. In response to this situation, there have been various new tax rules created to directly and indirectly help small businesses weather the storm and be able to survive and reestablish business as usual. Uh, that's a tricky one, business as usual, because we don't know what the new business as usual is going to be. Uh, Although I should say, and I made this statement the other day, and somebody questioned me about it. Uh, in the United States today, there are millions of folks who operate like myself as what we call solopreneurs. We don't have companies with employees. We do what we do. We operate by ourselves. When we need a certain kind of assistance, we collaborate with another small business to get that particular job done. Uh, but Barbara, it was about 5 or 6 years ago in a conversation we were having. Typically, we talk about this book in November when she comes out with the book. It was a little late this year, but when she comes out with it and we get together and we talk about it, it's real important to understand the new things that are happening, and particularly in this year, 2020, with how crazy a year it's been, and so that's where a book like this is even more important. And the wonderful thing that Barbara does also is you during the year, and I'm not sure if it's a schedule or as she pleases, but she will update the book on her website, and you get special. If you buy the book, you get special directions into a certain part of her website. And by the way, that's barbaraweltman.com, barbaraweltman.com. If you are a small business owner, no one, tell them to get to that page, Barbara's website, and sign up for her newsletters and her daily thoughts. Just information that we need. We don't need all of it every single day, but I look forward to reading it every morning. It used to come at 4 in the morning, and now I think it's 6 or a little after. It gets me to thinking about what's going on in the business world, and are there things I should be thinking about and working on and researching and studying. And Barbara is really good at that. So this year more than ever, and we just had a discussion. I think we did a video we did one last week because the book hadn't been in yet, and I made the statement that, my goodness, I've read that small businesses, 50% of the tax returns of small businesses are going to get audited. And that is an unreal. I said to Barbara, I said, isn't that a waste of time to audit a business this year? I mean, things have been a mess. We know it's been a mess. Let's just put it behind us and move forward. And it's going to be very interesting as businesses and individuals file their tax returns. Very interesting. And Barbara helps businesses. Actually, there's some information in here too that's personal in nature, but that's what it's all about. One thing that the way that Barbara structures the book, writes the book, is that she will um, talk about the item, the central idea, the central thought. She'll put it into perspective. She'll give a little case study, and she'll give examples. So I've told her that my favorite way to read this book is just if I have time. If I have time, uh, just pick it up and open it up. And I've made the statement. Wow, look what I opened up. This was absolutely arbitrary on page 403. COVID-19 related changes for 2020. That page alone, and I'm sure it's the next page also. It's worth. Well, this book, the highest retail price you can pay for this book is $23, $22.95. You can buy it for less on Amazon. I don't care what you pay for it, and I make this statement every year that all you need to do basically is open the book up one time, read something, figure out how it applies to your business, and you've paid for the book. So the more you do those kind of things, the more books you can buy and give away as gifts to friends, small business owners. About 5 years ago, wait, I wanted to read another thing. I wanted to read her something out of her introduction. It puts, she does a real good job of putting, small businesses are vital to the U.S. economy. They account for 99.9% of all firms, employ nearly half the country's private sector workforce, and contribute more than half the nation's gross national product. Small businesses created about 65% of all new jobs between 2000 and 2018, which was the last time we got statistics. One year I was talking with Barbara, and something she said. Well, we were talking about CPAs. Barbara's not a CPA. Barbara is a tax attorney. It's highly recommended that a professional works on your books, you create your return. There's just public accountants and certified public accountants. You make the choice of how you can, the best way you can work with that individual, the value that you can get back. And so Barbara said something, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some software. And I paid, back in those days, I probably paid $25 or $30 for the software. I was going to create a tax return for my own company, something I personally never done. I'd just given it over to a CPA and didn't pay close attention. Had trust enough in the CPA that I just did what he said, and his wife also worked on my tax return. So one year I bought the software, I ran my own, did my own return, and I printed it. I wasn't going to turn that in to the IRS because the red flags would go all off, the alarms would go off, and they say, "Let's go get Leopold." I printed off the return. I took it to my accountant, and he got the biggest smile on his face. I was a small account for him. He had many large accounts. He had to put the work in to do my return, but my work didn't return as much to him as the larger businesses did, and we were good friends. We understood that. But I took him my return for that year, gave it to him, and all I wanted him to really do for me that year was audit the return, look at the return. Do you have any suggestions? And he spent 1 hour going over my return, and probably even less than an hour, and charged me for less than an hour of his time, and which was considerably less than I had been paying him. And that wasn't the issue. That wasn't the issue at all. The issue was I learned more about my own business by just going through it line by line on the return than I'd ever known before. Because I assumed I had other people doing it for me, and it was a fantastic learning experience. He only charged me for his time and not for doing the whole return as he had in past years. So I highly recommend that too. And Barbara, well, you can look at the lines and go to the index and see what they're talking about, and go and find. And also too, if you're taking that kind of approach with your taxes, you have to have good questions. You have to have good questions to ask your CPA or your accountant, your public accountant, and you'll get them here. You'll get plenty of questions that can be asked, and your accountant will appreciate you asking good questions. They like that. They know they're doing their job when they can get that kind of response. So once again, it makes a great holiday gift. Small Business Taxes 2021. Barbara Weltman is the authority, the author, the premier small business strategist in terms of taxes. And as I said, you can see many discussions Barbara and I have had right now on the various websites that we have. So spend not more than $22.95 and get the book to buy the book as a gift for your favorite small business owner, be it a friend or a relative or a partner or anybody. Small business needs a lot of help. I don't need to reemphasize that, and we'll talk about that at a later opportunity. My name is David. Thank you for your time today. Actually, I don't think it was 19 minutes. I don't know how long it was, but thank you for your time. And it was. I'm just coming up on 19 minutes. I didn't see the timer there. There you go. We'll see you the next time, which may very well be the best time.